Hey, Milsurp Garage here. I thought that I had everything covered on these M95s, I gotta be honest with you, but why do I think that the Bayonet that I received yesterday deserves its own specific video? There was just so much drama going on with this thing and cool features and stuff that I just thought it would be actually kind of cool just to feature a video on what I had to do with this thing. First of all, when it came, I should have done a video right then showing what it looked like, because then that would make all of this make sense. And I really can't get into great detail because I don't have a before to compare what the after is. But I got kind of good with these things, with refurbing them. And just to throw out a few pointers. Number one, this had some slight rust spots. It wasn't like the metal was really pitted, just like kind of surface rust starting in a couple of areas. And when you see that on these bayonets, you could sand that. I wouldn't use anything power tools. You could sand it with like 600 grit sandpaper, even 800 grit sandpaper. And it might take a long time to actually get the rust off. It's not like you don't want to just, sand in 2 seconds. You might scrape it with a coarser sandpaper and get the rust off, but there'll definitely be a mark on the steel. But if you use a very, very fine sandpaper, as you're taking the rust off, you're not really gouging the metal at all. It's more or less even polishing it. So if you have a spotty area, like say on the top of the barrel ring, although they like to call it the muzzle ring because it doesn't always go around the barrel, but the muzzle ring, you could see it's uniform straight across. You could see right there where that spot of rust was actually, right there. And you could see that it isn't really the patina of that whole piece, and there was some on top here. You can see that it's not changed. Whereas if I would have really hit it with some nasty grit paper, I would have gotten the rust off in 20 seconds, but definitely you'd see a mark. This way it might have actually taken 20 minutes of like literally just sitting there polishing it with the paper, but when you're done, the patina is still even all around. It doesn't look like you really did anything to that area. And there was some back here too. But you can see the condition of it. I didn't want to pay a lot for the bayonet. There were some that were in very good shape with the scabbard and the frog, and they were over $100. And I was like, you know what? I got to take it easy with these bayonets. The last couple of bayonets killed me. You know what I mean? The Australian #1, the SMLE, SHTLE actually, #1 for the Lithgow. That killed me. I think it was expensive. And the one for the 1903 that I just recently featured. And had to get those though. Just had to. But there were some options with these where they were cheaper ones, just the condition wasn't so great. So I was just very careful with selecting from the pictures of selecting what I wanted. And this one was I think it's a Hungarian bayonet. I mean, a Hungarian scabbard. It says that FGG, what is it again? FGGV on it here, and this just has an STF with a square, and the double-headed eagle with double-headed dragon, whatever that is. So I think this is Austrian. This might be what did I just say? Hungarian. Back inside because I'm in the middle of doing a video. You're about to ruin it. So anyway, what I do is I take the 800 grit sandpaper and I use boiled linseed oil, and I actually sand on the wood. And what that does is the wood was very, very rough. It wasn't like it was really damaged or anything like that. It just had a very, very rough feel to it. And just putting BLO on it didn't really do anything. It kind of looked like when your skin gets rough. It just had, like the pores of the wood were like open. It's hard to explain, but I just hate that look to the wood, that roughness to the wood. And just by taking a very, very fine sandpaper and sanding it wet with boiled linseed oil, what happens is you're actually making like a very, very fine powder out of the wood that you're sanding, and it kind of blends in with the oil, and it kind of mixes with the wood to fill the tiny imperfections. It's a strange process. After I did that, after you do that, I wouldn't hit it with mineral spirits to clean it after that. you kind of want it to stay that way. You know, you don't want to take that kind of like wood powder out of any of the pores or anything. You just want to kind of leave the boiled linseed oil on there after you do the sanding to just kind of everything soak in and dry, and then you just wipe it with a rag, and it gives it this really smooth, silky feel to the wood that's really nice. And so that's the story with restoring it. And a couple of interesting things that actually go on with this bayonet. You're intent on ruining it. Things that go on. There's one thing is that sometimes with these bayonets you're not really sure which way it goes, and one way it goes in and it kind of doesn't go right, and the other way it feels right, but when you're putting it in you're never sure which way you're going, and you feel like you're going to gall the blade if you go the wrong way, or if you show it to someone and they take it out, inevitably they're always going to put it in the wrong way and you're going to go, oh no, the other way. This one's pretty cool. It's the first one I've seen where if you look on here, it actually has a flat spot on the top. Can you see it? And that'll correspond obviously to the flat top of the bayonet. So you know exactly always which way to put it where it goes in perfect. That I thought was pretty cool. And another cool thing about it is that when mounting it, it actually has the sharpened edge on the top. How cool is that? I mean, it makes more sense really. If you hold it in your hands and you imagine I gotta kill this dude that's rushing at me, you kind of would want the sharp edge to be on the top. Does make a whole lot of sense. The carbine had to be filed here on the bayonet mount area, which is typical with these refurbished ones. But the long rifle, it fit perfectly. But don't want to file too much on that bayonet lug. Just a little goes a long way. And got it to go on there nice. Here's the long rifle. I couldn't even, this whole thing ain't even going to fit in the frame. This is tremendous. Wow. Yeah, that's a rig. Oof. These long rifles with these crazy bayonets. Like nothing else. Anyway, so that's the story with this bayonet. It was a fun little resto project for me. And maybe I'll do a video featuring just bayonets and what I've done to them and how cool they are. And that's it. The M95 saga still continues up to today, but I think that's just good. I think we're winding down. We're on to the next thing, actually, and strangely enough, the next thing, to give you a little hint, let's see if you guys can figure out exactly what it's going to be. It's the next video is going to be on a rifle that also has the bayonet with the sharp edge facing up. Do your research. First one to figure out what rifle it is wins absolutely nothing. Have a good one.